We are going to be.
I think we're live.
Yeah, it's Thursday, y'all. So you know what that means. It's time for the Texas Hemp Party. I'm your host, Leah Laxton. I'm a native Kentuckian with a passion for hemp, living in the great state of Texas, and the co-founder of Higher Ed Hemp Tours. I've got my two co-founders, co-hosts with me today, and our returning champion, Lee Vernon. So we'll start with Captain Cannabis in the house.
Hey guys, hope everyone's thinking positive this week.
We've got our fantastic producer who makes everything seem so professional and pushes all the buttons, Cynthia Morales.
Oh, she's muted.
Everyone, I know, right? I'm not pushing.
Yeah, who pushes the buttons for her? That's the question. And like we said, our returning champion, Lee Vernon, with First Responder Fuel. Thanks so much for being with us, Lee.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We always have fun with you. So this week, we're leading up to the holidays. So we do want to say that next week we are going to be off the air. So we won't be having you'll have to have your own Texas Hemp Party wherever you might be for the holidays. And that's what we want to talk about a little bit today. So this is a great time, obviously, whether you're going to be in person with your family or on a Zoom call with your family. We're certainly not here to judge because it's a party and we avoid all controversial subjects unless it's controversial hemp subjects, and then we're all about it. But whatever way you're engaging with your family over the holidays, this is a great time to bring up cannabis. A recent study said that 27% of people, it was a New Frontier data study, 27% of people hear about CBD from their friends and family. Still the number one way that people hear about hemp, cannabis, and all of these products. So let's talk about first what we're going to be doing for the holidays, and then give some people some ideas about how they can engage their family members. So I'll go first. For us, my brother's birthday always falls right around this time. His birthday's November 26th. So it's the jackpot year where it falls right on Thanksgiving. So all of his friends are usually gone and he's forced to spend it with us. Usually when his birthday falls on Thanksgiving, we do a little Vegas trip. But this year we're staying here in Austin and we're doing the Alamo Draft House Rent the Alamo, which is pretty cool. It's like $150. You get to rent out the Alamo Draft House for yourself and socially distance with your friends. So we're excited about that. He knows quite a bit about hemp and cannabis, so I don't know how much I'll be able to educate him, but we'll probably bring it up right before the movie at some point. Like, wait, but did you know about CBN? We'll see. So Lee, what are you doing for the holidays, and what kind of tips do you have for bringing these subjects up to friends and family?
Well, we keep it pretty low key. Just the immediate family gets together and just kind of eat until we're miserable.
Yeah.
Typically, I mean, every time you go to a family function, whether it be Thanksgiving, Christmas, or otherwise, somebody's always dealing with something, medical, physical, emotional. And that's usually, just give it time and somebody is always going to go, oh my goodness, this is bothering me. And that's the opportunity to go in, you know what? I had so-and-so that had the same issue and they're not having that issue anymore. It's usually like, well, what are they doing? And it's a good segue into explaining what we have to offer and what CBD has to offer, and give them that education, because that's what it's about. I just had some friends here probably about a month ago, didn't even realize it's, hemp is legal. And
Right.
I had to, needless to say, we had a little difference of opinions, but then once they found out, oh, it's legal, it's like, oh, well, never mind then. Okay, it's okay.
That is so funny how that happens. We find that quite a lot, and Cynthia can definitely speak to that as well with her family. That as soon as the farm bill passed, it was just suddenly like, oh, let's talk about it now. Like, well, there was a previous farm bill. It was kind of pretty much legal since 2014, but state by state, etc.
And you know what? Even though we've talked about it before, I'm pretty sure they've forgotten about it already, or something else has come along that's gotten their attention. So definitely bring it up, even if you think that they know already, because things are always changing and evolving, and products, all of this. So yeah, bring it up anyways, even if they don't give you a reason. Just be like, have you heard of Hemp Tours? Here's a sticker.
Yeah. Definitely.
And yeah, it's always going to be an educational experience, especially because my family is they're very anti-cannabis, for sure, anti-marijuana, and so now they're in my office. This is my home office, and I have like cannabis leaves just everywhere. We can see them here. So I'm not going to redecorate this time. They're going to just see a lot of products in Hemp Tours, so they'll have to know, like, what is this? So I'm excited.
That's a great point. Since we all do have our home offices, it does make it a little bit easier to share the message without even saying anything. Just let the office speak for itself, for sure. And Captain Cannabis, what do you think? Do you have any takes on how we can open up this conversation with the families? I think you're muted there.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, gotcha.
Yeah, I think we're also stuck on just one screen. Just a heads up.
Oh, okay. There we go. We got it.
Cool. Yeah. So, what do we say when it comes to talking with family? And I've been listening. I don't listen to a lot of news because I like to stay positive. But some of the messages I hear them say is, "Don't go home for the holidays." And it's like that is the wrong idea, because what makes life so awesome is diversity, for one. But when you can share a different perspective, a different point of view, regardless of what the issue is, if you're in the right and you're trying to share something, don't fight. Just go there and love. And so when it comes to talking to people about cannabis that don't really know anything about it, well, you have to understand that they're coming from a place of fear. And so if someone's afraid, you don't go up and beat them up and say, well, you're, or how did John Wayne do it and stuff? Hey, so all the tough guys would say, hey, suck it up and stuff like that. But that doesn't work. And the plant teaches us not to do it that way. What the plant's teaching us to do is to be loving and kind and say, hey, look, this is what's been working. This is what's legal. And really, it's just a plant. Even if you got a buzz, if you're in Colorado and you're enjoying the THC part of the plant, it's just a buzz, just like you're drinking beer or you're popping a pill that the doctor gave you and you went to church with that pill in your system. Oh my goodness, you had a buzz. So it's like what we can do is desensitize them in a gentle, kind way. And you know what we ought to do, Leah, is we ought to do a little practice where it's like, how to bring up cannabis.
A walkthrough.
Yeah.
That sounds like marijuana to me. Like,
a lot of people feel that way. No. But let me show you something in this cannabis book.
Right. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. And I think that's a great point. It's like, just because, you may not be able to travel home for the holidays doesn't mean you can't spend time with your family on the holidays on the phone. I know we're all sick of Zoom, but it's still a great way to connect with our families at this time. So a great opportunity to be able to bring up these subjects. I personally find mentioning the endocannabinoid system is a really great way to open a door too, because people are just like, wait, what? My body makes substances like cannabinoids and they interact with my body, and I have a CB1, CB2 receptor, and generally you get the like, yeah, right, show me the white paper look. And then you're just like, here they all are, right here, here's the info. So I think it's a really great way to break down the door. And starting with the basics. Also, a lot of people now have heard or tried of, CBD, especially in that age range over 50. So most likely at this point, we're almost not breaking down the door, that barrier, as much as we're just providing additional education. And I know Cynthia and I find this a lot with our friends. Usually they're like, oh, I tried XYZ, like a chain shop or convenience store, because I know you guys do hemp tours. And we're always like, oh my God, it's literally the opposite of what we're telling you to do. But, thanks, I guess, for sort of.
Or they want to buy products from us. They're like, give me your products. Tell me your product. And we're like, well, we don't sell products. We introduce.
We used to, but we decided to go a different way to help people.
And that's where I think, for us, first responder fuel, I guess I go about it a little different too, because I can listen to people of what's bothering them. And then what's the next holiday, Christmas, or if it's just a family event, listen, and then send them a free sample pack of things that would address their issue. And then when they get there, like, what is this? And it's like, oh, well, I remember you talking about this. And that's another segue of educating them and letting them try it firsthand and go, oh, this really does work. And that in itself will go along.
And that's a great gift too.
Yeah.
People feel better.
It definitely
you can have
is.
stocking stuffers,
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing a little gift pack for Christmas, Lee, that people can get to on the website?
We are. We're putting together for December, almost like a sample pack of everything we sell. So it's inexpensive, and you can kind of play around with everything and find what works best for you, what you prefer, whether it be a tincture or a gummy or a capsule, coffee that we're coming out with. So we're going to put, a nice little Christmas package for people that are interested. You get to try something new, and it's a great way. And that's what all my employees and everybody that we deal with, what they're getting for Christmas this year. So
oh yeah. On that note, we finally got our Hemp Tours some swag in. So these are going to be going out to our partners soon, where you'll be able to actually purchase this in their stores. And this is definitely what all our friends and family are getting for Christmas. We got the Hemp Tours hat. We got the stickers. Let's see, we got the stickers. And then we got these cool little postcards that you can pick up for free at our partners. And, if you just want to send like a little postcard home for Christmas, I don't know how it would go over. Don't tell them it was free, just be like, yeah. But that's some Texas greenhouse grown hemp on there, which I think is pretty cool this time of year. So I love that idea, Lee. I think having the sample pack's awesome, because like you said, that way people get to experience hemp in a variety of ways and pick out what's going to be best for them going into the new year. Makes a perfect gift, low priced item. So definitely check out First Responder Fuel and go over there and pick that up for Christmas. It's a great way to open up the conversation, and I love the topicals, because I always find topicals do a great job of opening that conversation, because people are kind of like, oh, I don't know, a tincture or like a gummy that seems like, I don't know if I want that, especially if it's full spectrum. That's what's great about your products, because you offer no THC products, verified,
right,
clean. So if somebody has a concern, which this is, a big concern that people have, they don't want any THC in their body, don't have to have that whole argument. No. You can just provide a product like this that they won't have to have that worry. So that's awesome.
What's the best topical that you would give to someone?
Like, as far as I like the salves. What do you think, Lee?
Me too.
We do the same, a balm. We do a balm that is our number one probably seller when it comes to people with chronic pain of certain issues by far.
Yeah, because I'm thinking first responders too. That's a lot of joint pain, a lot of up and down, in and out of trucks,
backs are shot.
Yep. So that's the perfect thing to be able to help out that, no doubt. So speaking of the holidays, after the holidays comes January. And this year there's a huge movement around dry January. I think probably because, let's be honest, I know I've drank a lot more this year than I ever have because of COVID. Typically Captain Cannabis and I were like, go out to a brewery, have a beer. We go to our favorite spots, Liberty, go out in Austin, but we didn't really drink at home a whole lot. Well, this really created a new routine where you're drinking at home suddenly. Now suddenly you're going back out to drink and you're kind of just drinking everywhere. I think it's become a stress manager for a lot of people. So I think this is awesome. We're going to sign up and do Dry January. We do have an event January 8th and 9th that we're going to put like a little asterisk of if we can make it through that or not. But otherwise we're on board, little cheat day maybe, but we're on board. So how can we use hemp and CBD to really bridge this gap between, it's getting back to a healthier lifestyle and using January not just to be dry in January, but really extending this lifestyle throughout the rest of the year. Lee, do you have any favorite ways that you use or recommend hemp to replace alcohol?
Well, yeah, I actually did it during the COVID. Same deal. And, we deal with that stress of being stuck at home and lockdowns and just overall craziness. What I did was instead of increase my drinking, I increased my CBD intake. And that, honestly, I have this year is probably the one year I've drank the least out of probably the last 10.
Wow.
I attribute that to, as I increase that CBD intake, my body's getting what it needs because it's stressed with everything going on, running business and just everything. I found that I didn't need that alcohol for that stress relief. So it's interesting because CBD is actually being used in the medical world for addiction and dealing with people with addiction, alcohol and drugs. And they're finding that, when you come off of that, your body will detox. Well, what does that do? It's going to cause stressors. You've got a lot of stuff the body's trying to get rid of. That CBD will help counter that and will help with that craving. So I'm a 100% firm believer personally, as well as others that I've worked with over this ordeal. They've increased their CBD because their body needed it, and the drinking actually did not increase, which is absolutely wonderful. Not that I don't like a bourbon every now and then, but I by far maybe have that one glass of bourbon once a week, twice at most, and it's one glass, and I'm like, what, I'm good. So it's more of a taste rather than a need because my body's being fed what it needs. And so then to me, I think physiologically, it's not craving some of these things that can become addictive or cause health issues. And so that's my take on that. And I don't think it matters if you're getting it from a drink, CBD from a drink, a tincture, a capsule. Feeding the body what it needs, quality CBD and hemp will alleviate a lot of that. And so I think is the problem I think you'll have to run into those, everybody's stressors and bodies are different. And so it's not like that pharmaceutical where, hey, I know I can take 2 glasses of bourbon and I'm not going to feel any pain. With CBD, it's a gradual thing. And some people may, that first dose, feel that relief. Others, it may take a week or two. So I would, just advise people, if it's not working that first 1 or 2 days, seek out the person you bought it from. Ask them, look at your dosage. How much are you taking? What's the purity and quality of that product? And it just may be a dosage issue, or it could be, hey, you've got a subpar product that really isn't going to do you any good anyways. So those are the things I would inform and tell people about on starting that in January.
Yeah, I love that advice. We get a lot of questions around dosing, and it's difficult, because like you said, everybody's body is so different, not only just body weight wise, but just the way that cannabinoids react within the body. Cynthia did the cannabis DNA test, which was really interesting. And they really show how every person is so different, right, Cynthia, on like the amount of cannabinoids they need.
Oh yeah, it was very interesting. I mean, if anybody's done a regular DNA test, ancestry, or what was the other one?
23andMe.
23andMe. They actually take those results. So if you've done that, they can take it, turn around and kind of analyze that. But it's interesting because not only, I mean, this is done from a study, you know, whatever your genetic makeup is, and compared to a variety of other people with the same genetic makeup and what the tendencies are. So of course, you know, this is just analyzing studies and things like that. So hopefully the more people do this, the more pool we get and the more precise it can be.
Did you find out your DNA is identical to Willie Nelson's?
I'm sure we're close cousins for sure, because yeah, I mean, I definitely understood that my type of body metabolizes cannabinoids much quicker than normal. And so there is a level, you know, some people need a very low dosage and they feel it instant. Some people like me, I don't. I do need a higher dosage because of the way my body just works. So that really helped me a lot, because at the same time, I mean, I was always, or I still am, the one that I'm like, does this really work? Is this product really, you know? And I see sometimes you guys are like, do you not feel this? And I'm like, nope, I do not. So it really helped out, you know, to understand it. And so usually I'll double up my dosage from the normal person. But we're actually going to have David, who is my coach that analyzed all of this. He's going to be on it next month. I forgot what date. So it'll be a good one to join in, because he'll talk more about it. And I told him that he can talk about my information too. It's cool.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Put it out there for the public. No privacy concerns on the Texas Hemp Party.
I think this is interesting too, of feedback. You just mentioned whether you notice it working or not. And I've had clients in the past get on it and go, you know, yeah, I felt a little bit of a difference. And they kind of question it and go, nah, maybe placebo. You know, the placebo effect. They get off of it and they're like, oh my goodness. No, they call right back within a week going, no, now I feel that difference, and they get back on. So a lot of that too it's subtle in some people.
Oh,
that is a great point for sure.
Yeah, because I definitely can tell the difference when I'm off CBD. I mean, I take daily, you know, I have an oil, you know, you have your CBD, well, my CBD regimen, things that I do daily. But if I don't do it, like let's say I'm out of town and I forget stuff. I mean, I was camping a couple weeks ago and the same thing, you know, I don't do it. And yeah, I do not sleep the same. I don't feel the same. So it maybe you don't feel it as often because your body's just used to it. But when you come off of it, that's when you definitely notice that it's doing something, that it's helping.
Yeah, it's funny because even being, you know, cannabis enthusiasts, yet when we first started hearing about CBD, taking CBD, I, for whatever reason, was like super skeptical as well. Like, diet weed, it seems ridiculous. And same thing, like I was taking some gel caps for sleep. I'd never slept better. Of course, I didn't even really notice it because I was sleeping so well. Stopped taking it and it was just like night and day. And that's, you know, really what I was just like, oh man, I want to know everything about this. You know, what really triggered us to explore this further was just the amazing benefit. But like you said, that sometimes you don't notice until you stop. I think another really great resource on the dosing side is the Nurse 411. They're a non-profit organization. Wait, is that right, Cynthia? Yeah, Nurse 411, right? Yeah. They're a really great non-profit organization based in Colorado that they have nurses on a hotline, like 24/7. You can call in this hotline, and whatever questions you have about cannabis, they'll walk you through basically dosing, what you should take for your particular issue that you're trying to take it for. Because I'm sure, Lee, you run into this. It's another issue in the industry is people are like, I have XYZ ailment. Will this cure me, basically? And that's where we all kind of go like, okay, you know, we're obviously not medical professionals here. You need to talk to your doctor. You need to really go down these roads. And that's great. But then the doctors are the ones coming back around to us as well. Like, what should this person take? You know, and you're like, well, I know, but I also don't want to, you know, with the FDA, make medical claims, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a really awesome resource to sort of put that out there to the medical profession, but to people who actually understand cannabis. So if you do have questions, highly recommend checking out Nurse 411 for sure.
And I agree. I like the. I've never heard of this resource. This is fantastic. Because I run into the problem being a medical professional for 30 years. You have that gray area you have to be careful of. But unfortunately, what I find is I deal with a lot of people dealing with a lot of issues. A lot of your Western medical doctors still don't believe in this. I just had a client this week talked to her doctor and said, look, everything you're giving me is not working. I'm trying this. And he's like, oh, it's garbage. That stuff, it doesn't work, yada, yada, yada. And she got it. And she said first dose, she started noticing a difference. I've had other clients go back to their doctor and go, you know what, you didn't agree, but now I'm off all of this other stuff that you put me on. I'm feeling better. My health, you see my health results, they're better. And the only thing I added and changed was adding this product to my diet and alleviated the others. And the doctors then kind of go, you can't argue that. And so that's hard to argue from a medical professional. You'll still get some that go, whatever, I'm not in favor of it. But others go, what are you taking? And then I get the opportunity to hopefully educate those medical professionals and guide them on a track. And that's the part of what we're all here doing is it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, amen to that. It's so true. I think we've had similar results as well, where in the beginning, when we told people to go back to their doctor, it was like, I don't know, that's, a fad, whatever. But as time has went along, and obviously we're here in Austin, so it's much more cannabis friendly, even the medical profession, they believe in it a lot more than it's very regionalized. Where you are in the country makes a big difference on the opinion of your medical professional on this subject, like no doubt. But we've really seen them back around to the point where we're seeing CBD even sold by doctors' offices now in Austin. So I think it's very interesting to see the way the medical profession has started to gravitate finally to these products and acknowledge their value because, like you said, their patients coming back in with these positive results. How can they deny that, So that's awesome.
So hey, you're talking about dosing and we're also talking about how to get off, maybe if we want to reduce the alcohol in January by using specific dosing. So I was thinking one of the products that was also mentioned by Lee there is drinks. And there's some delicious drinks that have cannabinoids in there. But it's something to think about because dosing is different. Because if you're buying a drink, maybe a spritzer, or what other drinks do they have, Leah?
Like Recess is a good one that we like. There's a lot of drinks out there that usually are like a sparkling water style beverage.
So we're buying one of those type. You could buy a case of this stuff and then leave it in the refrigerator. And I'm telling you, if you want to reduce alcohol and you say, I don't want to drink tonight, you can just drink tea. Or if you go, say when bars are open, you can go to a bar and just order just soda water and just sip on it. And we have friends that have done that. It works really well. But when it comes to dosing, if the product is really good, they're using water soluble, which a lot of people say, well, it's not water soluble, it's compatible, but it doesn't matter. But the point is when you're making that soda, you're taking to make the cannabinoids evenly distribute within that drink. If you just drop oil in there, some people, back in several years ago, if you go to a coffee shop and say, I want some CBD, they're just going to squirt a little bit of tincture oil into the coffee, which if it's really hot, it's going to burn your lip and the oils anyways. But so be careful with that. But if you do water soluble, what happens there is you're taking surfactants, which is an emulsifier. So you create an emulsion. And then the way we did it, we hit it with ultrasonic waves to make the bubbles smaller, then smaller and smaller and smaller. So, but what happens is it jumps the bioavailability of that product up So, if oil tincture may only be 23% bioavailable, meaning that your body only absorbs 23% of it, whereas a water soluble, because the bubbles become so small, they go right through your membrane. Well, then that bumps it up to close, some of them upwards of 80%, 83% bioavailability. So if you're taking if you're taking a 5 milligrams, well, that's, you might as well multiply that by 4 if it's a water soluble or water compatible. So that could be like feel like a 20 milligram product. And so those are something to think about when it comes to dosing, because if you're doing a water soluble, water compatible product, it's gonna give you a lot more of a oomph that you might expect.
Curious question, and since you were talking about that, so we're wanting to put a product in to lessen that inflammation and help the body. I think, and you may have the answer to this. How does that affect if you are taking a soda or a drink, though, that has a high sugar content? That is an inflammatory. So are you going to balance some of that out, or are you going to obviously not maximize that effect? Because, hey, as I'm taking that larger dosage or absorption rate, I'm also adding a catalyst that may counter that. So maybe sugar is something to think about in your products. I don't know. Do you have any studies or knowledge on that?
A lot of I've talked to several manufacturers throughout the past few years, and some of the white papers too infer that cannabinoids actually enhance the reactability of certain other things. So sugar, I don't know. I haven't looked into that. That's a really good one, because sugar is the most deadly drug on the planet. But yeah, could you imagine if you're taking cannabinoids and you take it with sugar, then it enhances the sugar? That wouldn't be necessarily a healthy thing for your pancreas.
No, and I know that I'm starting to see some of these nutrition, like a Monster-like soda or energy drink with CBD in there. And I'm looking at that going, that's a ploy, because all the other garbage in a Monster is horrible for your body. And so those are things maybe to think about too. Look at your organic and ingredient list on those products to be sure that it didn't have a bunch of stuff you can't pronounce. Because if you can't pronounce it, it probably didn't belong in your body.
You don't want sodium benzoate in there.
And that's the issue with some of the emulsifiers that go into water soluble. There are ways to do it with, I think, sunflower oil, correct me if I'm wrong, Captain Cannabis, and some other ways. But there are also, the getting the balance and the polysorbate 80s and some of these other emulsifiers that are maybe have a little more gray area around the health effects on them. So, you want to be aware and really buy from companies that are, very experienced in making these water soluble products.
Yeah, because my biggest concern is if they do, say, if you're running your ultrasonic homogenizer on the product and you have some of those preservatives in it at the same time with the surfactants, you may be actually upgrading the bioavailability of a chemical that causes cancer. And those are things that manufacturers, when you're getting into manufacturing, hire a scientist, spend the money, bring them on as a consultant at first. It's hard to start a manufacturing business from a shoestring budget. Most people, if they're going to go into manufacturing, you need at least a couple $1 million, but you can do it. There's a lot of these cottage law type manufacturers, but they're doing things and they don't know what they're doing sometimes. And we learn by experience. We make a mistake and we're like, oh shoot, but we don't want to make those kind of mistakes when you're making nanotechnology and then giving it to someone to drink. We want to make sure that it's made properly so we don't.
Yeah. We're talking about that like with Full Spectrum, since hemp does such an awesome job at cleaning the soil. The reason why a lot of states like Texas require the full panel lab test is to see those levels of lead and other heavy metals, because hemp pulls those out of the ground. So imagine you're making a full spectrum water soluble, you're new at this, don't have a full panel lab test, you don't know there's a high level of lead, and then you're concentrating that. inside of a product by nanosizing it. So there certainly are concerns here around the manufacturing process, because we do still have a lack of regulation in a lot of states. Of course, Texas doing a great job of being a leader with requiring the full panel lab test, but there's a lot of states where that's not required. So again, you always want to look for products and companies who have experience in this and have the budgets and the scientists and the science on deck, especially when it comes to nanotechnology, no doubt. Yeah, awesome, guys. Well, what a great conversation. Now let's talk about a few of the events that are going on right now, because man, there's a lot of them. So virtual, a lot of virtual, but some in-person stuff coming up as well. So right now, actually today, the Green Plant Summit is going on. That's a really cool event. It's over 25 experts inside of hemp. It's a free event designed for consumers, but industry can also get a lot of value out of it. There's doctors, nurses, attorneys. Cynthia and myself somehow found our way onto this expert lineup, which we were super excited about, but they threw us some softballs. So that was nice. You can go to our Instagram and click on the link tree and actually visit the link for this event, the Green Plant Summit. It's going to be going on for the next 4 days, and it is 100% free. You just put in your name and email address, and you get to access all this amazing content. The interviewer, John, is a really incredible guy that, there he is, John Malanka. He's awesome, really, just very personable and friendly and extensive knowledge of cannabis. He'd been on a radio show for many years, and it really shows because he's at ease behind the mic. So highly recommend you go check out the Green Plant Summit at greenplantsummit.com. And if you're not able to make it over the next 4 days, the cool thing is that I think it's $29 you can pay, and you can actually go back and access all of the content here. So they do have medical professionals that are also speaking about some of these things.
Who's
like,
that?
There we are. Hemp and CBD, the differences. That's awesome. And then I did the traveling with CBD. So I broke it to everyone that CBD isn't necessarily legal in all 50 states, even though it's federally legal. Although we're down to just like, pretty much, I think it's just good old Idaho that's still kind of, they just want zero THC. So a product like Lee's can work great there. They have some licensing requirements, but for the most part, we're on board. But, there's still some concerns around, especially international travel and CBD. So Green Plant Summit, be sure to check that out. Also going on right now, we're proud to sponsor the Texas Marijuana Policy Conference. If you're really interested in what's going on the legislative side, this is a great conference because we have lawmakers from right here in the state of Texas that are presenting on this conference. That's put on by Heather Fazio and team. So that is $149. It's going on today and tomorrow. And I do believe there is playback on all of these sessions as well. So really interesting if you're concerned, wondering about what the future of Texas legislation is going to be. So check that out.
I've been to one of their seminars, and I'm telling you, they are so amazing, and they explain things in such a way that you don't have to feel intimidated by it. And it's really, the information is just incredible.
Yeah, we got Representative Joe Moody there is the keynote speaker. He's actually introduced some cannabis legislation already into the legislature for the 2021 session. So you can learn a lot about basically where this is all going. Of course, the big agenda on everyone's minds is getting that 0.5 cap lifted off the THC level in Texas. A lot of people don't know we do have a medical marijuana program in the state of Texas. It's just kind of messed up because it's capped at 0.5, which essentially makes it CBD. Compassionate Cultivation and the others do a great job, though. They, somehow within this law, have been able to do like 1:1 CBD THC ratios and some other really cool stuff. But they, along with the patients of the state of Texas, need something different and something better.
Leah,
so
0.5. This is what you just said this earlier. That's what you'd call the diet marijuana.
Right.
Only 0.5
No doubt. No doubt. And it just puts like this new manufacturing hurdle on them to have to stay within these limits, and really limits the strains that they're even able to work with. So hopefully that will get corrected, and you can do your part on that by following the Texas Marijuana Policy Conference in Texas Normal and seeing how you can advocate. We don't know if it's going to be virtual or in person in 2021, but all that action is going to start in January. So, and of course, we'll be letting you know as well as we come up with our strategy and plan as well to talk to our lawmakers here. Also out is the South by Southwest panel picker. We've submitted a panel that we think would be really great since South by is here in Austin. It's called the Badass Women of Texas Cannabis. Women lead the way here in the state of Texas, the state of cannabis, the state of Texas cannabis. It's really amazing to see. There's so many incredible women. So we want to put together the best of the best on this panel, really show the world that comes in for this South by Cannabis track what Texas cannabis is all about. So if you want to see that too, you can go to South by Southwest Panel Picker, search for Badass Women of Texas Cannabis, and vote for our session. We hopefully will make it through. I think last year we made it to the last round and didn't get picked. So we got fingers crossed this year. We're not sure if that's going to be virtual or in person, but we'll see what happens. And then Lee, we were talking about Lucky Leaf. That's one of our favorite events as well. I know you've done a lot with Lucky Leaf. So they just announced their full lineup for next year. Tell us a little bit about what you guys are going to be doing with Lucky Leaf.
Well, we, matter of fact, got off the phone with them today. We're going to be writing a monthly submission for them for their webpage every month on educating. And they've got three Texas events next year. Oklahoma City, Albuquerque got moved to 2022. They're going to replace that Albuquerque date with Mississippi because it just got legalized and passed in the last election. So they already have those dates. The only iffy date we're waiting to see on will be the Austin. We'll see how that goes and how things are going there, but everything else is pretty much late next year. So pretty excited in the fact that we're now a part of Lucky Leaf. We're going to be writing for them, and then all of the Texas conferences, the Oklahoma City conference, and potentially the Mississippi, we will be speaking at, and we'll have a booth there as well. So we will definitely be at those events for 2021, and looking excited and stoked about participating and being part of that.
That is amazing. I saw Jackson get added as well and thought that was pretty incredible to think how far we've come. Of course, the feds have been growing a little cannabis in Mississippi for a long time. There at Mississippi State, it's been the only source of federally researched cannabis for forever, for a number of years. So exciting to see, I think, medical marijuana become legal there, because there's an opportunity possibly that the feds might look at. By the feds, I mean like the DEA might look at allowing research to happen on the medical side of actual products are being consumed, because what they're growing there at Mississippi State is kind of like almost hemp at this point. Like it hasn't really been bred the way that medical marijuana has. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what goes down with that. And of course, the DEA and FDA kind of battling for control of that research program. So we'll see what happens. But Lucky Leaf in Jackson, Mississippi, man, that's going to be awesome. We love Lucky Leaf as well. We were scheduled to speak at Austin and Dallas this year. So we're hoping that rolls over into next year, because it's just a fabulous event. What I like about it, super well organized, super well ran. They were right out in front with delaying the dates as well. You know, other conferences, it was like the week before, like, oh, it's delayed. We all knew it was going to be delayed, but these guys came out right away, kind of informed what was happening. And I like that it's intimate. You know, it's not one of these big, like I love MJ BizCon, but let's admit the 30,000 people there, huge. It's a giant. And so this is a much smaller, more intimate, regionalized conference that I think is fantastic for the industry. So that's awesome. Can't wait to see you speak there, Lee, for sure. And we can't wait to speak too. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a blast. Happy to see them make it and come back through in 2021. Speaking of MJ BizCon, it's going to be virtual this year. I think today is the last day to pick up those $99 tickets. I think that they've done a good job transitioning. They tried to do live in person. It was just too difficult. They made the right call to pull that and go virtual. And it sounds like they're going to have a lot of good networking opportunities. I don't know. Have you done a lot of these virtual conferences so far, Lee?
I haven't. I'm such a people person, and you just can't replace that face-to-face network building. That is just one of those things that I've done. I've done enough Zoom and teleconferences that it's not the same. And actually talking with them, they're right there with us. They're like, no, we agree with that. There's something to be said for that. And so I have a hard time getting into the virtual realm of conferences, and we do so many on the safety side for a medical company to this. Man, I call me old school, call me stubborn, but nothing replaces that human interaction and relationship building with people face to face. You can't replace it.
Yeah, I have to 100% agree with you. There's been a lot of talk about things staying hybrid, which is great and everything. But I think in the end of the day, we all like to be in person, see each other face to face. So I'm excited about it all coming back too. I will say I've done quite a few. I do get a little Zoom burnout for sure. But the ones that I've liked the best have the speed networking features, or in some way you're able to engage one-on-one. And so there are some that have done a really great job of that. I loved Emerge, that you made your own avatar and all that, but I will say it crashed my computer I don't even know 5 times. I was like, come on, come back. So, it's difficult. There's tech difficulties. I know Cynthia did a little VR concert last night that was really awesome, but I think at the end of the day, we want to get back to the in-person stuff. So we're excited to see Lucky Leaf come back around.
Virtual hugs are just not the same,
They're not, it's just, oh no.
Come here, honey. I want to hug you.
You just can't do it, So the last event we want to talk about is the Texas Hemp Growers event. This is actually going to be our very first event back in person since February, and it's a small event. It's here in San Marcos, Texas. It is on Saturday, their Master Growers class. I'm really impressed by Texas Hemp Growers because the pricing and the level of knowledge that they provide for the hemp farmers, I think they've been a huge asset here for the state of Texas. And I talked to Zach today or yesterday, and I think that they only have 2 tickets left for this event. So you never know these days. And what's that?
Do I have a ticket?
Yeah. So we're actually going to have a table. I guess we're going to be looking like this guy here, except we're going to have masks on and all of that. So we can meet mask to mask on Saturday if you're coming out to the event.
You saying that people that are watching can actually come and visit Captain Cannabis and Admiral Cannabis, and then what's Cynthia, Queen of Cannabis?
You got called what was it, Colonel Cannabis today? We're like, oh no.
Yeah, you were Colonel Cannabis.
Somebody emailed us what does Colonel Cannabis think? And we're like, it's Captain. Okay. But yeah, you can 100% from 9 to 3 p.m. on Saturday. Come out and meet us face to face, and we can talk about Hemp Tours, what you're doing on your farm. This is a great opportunity to learn about if you're interested in growing hemp. And also, since this is the master class, Zach said that it's going to be a bit more in depth than their typical classes. So really trying to hit people who grew this year, maybe had some issues or want to expand their operation next year. Come on into the Texas Hemp Growers, the Advanced Grower Masterclass.
And I've taken his class before, and I'm telling you, he knows his stuff so well, and it's really incredible. If you have any interest in hemp, you definitely want to take his class. And I'm telling you, that class, he could easily be charging $300 to $1,200 for this class, maybe even more, because that's the amount of information he gives you. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I think it's $50, and then the year subscription is less than $100. So it's, Zach's really out there. You can tell that he's farmer first. That's his background, and he's all about the farmer. Even in the Ag Commission meetings, we loved it because every meeting we went to, it was Zach gets up to speak, and it's like, but what are you guys doing for the farmers? You got to make this easier, this easier, this easier. So we loved it because he speaks his mind, and he's all about the farmers first. So
he speaks up.
Yeah, go check out that event if you'd like to see us in person. We're super stoked to be a part of it. So I know this is hard to believe, guys, but the party's just about over. So let's tell them where to find you, Lee, one more time. What are your social media handles, website? How can they get in touch with First Responder Fuel and you?
Well, we've got First Responder Fuel, the website, obviously, firstresponder.fuel.com. We are on Instagram. We're on Twitter, although we don't tweet much, but also on Facebook. And you can also find our sister company, Texas Strategic Advisors. We are currently on Facebook and Instagram there. The website is being built, and we're probably a few months from that being to where I want it. But with that, we just, as a matter of fact, last weekend gained 2 new clients that are farmers that want to farm. Speaking of this, farm hemp here in Texas. So we started this TSA as a turnkey service to help people that want to get into the farming industry but want to succeed. And so we partnered with some of the best in the business, and we're able to provide you the knowledge, the materials, a step-by-step process and discounts and all the stuff to get going. And we're big believers in the medical grade hemp. Our believers are the craft hemp. So high grade CBD, medical quality to actually help people. And so that's what we focus on with TSA, and helping people succeed and become successful, getting into a brand new industry that we're on the ground level. There's nowhere to go but up. So excited about that. Matter of fact, greenhouses are on the way, and we're going to be starting pretty darn quick. And so between end products that help people to people that want to start a business, and nowadays with everything going the way it is, perfect time for it.
I love that, Lee. That's awesome. So Texas Strategic Advisors. And what I really love about it is that you're able to provide that vertical integration knowledge, because there are a lot of, or there's really not that many. There's a few people that can advise on farming, but lack that end, sale knowledge, and you have this knowledge all the way through. So that's fantastic. We're excited to see you grow that consulting side and the value that you're going to be providing to your clients. You're primarily focused in Texas, or are you taking on clients all over?
We'll take them anywhere, primarily in Texas. And who we partnered with actually allows us to be the largest vertically integrated cannabis company in North America, from seed to sale. So we can offer those other avenues of like, hey, you want to white label your product that you grow? Oh, we can help you with that. To you name it. If it's out there, we're involved in it, and we have the best of the best. Lots of people like Lisa Pittman is a part of the team, to other very qualified, very well-respected people. And it's all about success. I want to see people succeed and feel better. That's simple.
That's it. Nothing's going to help consumer adoption more than quality products and success of the farmer. So I love that mission. We love Lisa. Of course, I can't wait for another Talk Tuesday. Hopefully they're going to put that together soon. If you're in the industry, it's a really fun event that they do every couple months. It's just like a giant Zoom call where they really lay down some awesome knowledge that honestly, a lot of times you would pay a lot of money for an attorney of that caliber. So I think that's amazing that they do the community such a huge service by dropping that knowledge for free, as long as you sign up for the Zoom and get in there. So fantastic. Well, from our team to yours, happy holidays. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Oh, I was going to say,
yes.
Remember, if you're making a turkey, if you want to throw a little of your hemp flour into the oil, that way give us some good flavor. Just a little tip for Thanksgiving.
That's such a great point. That's a good one. We've done a little cannabis infused turkey basting in the past. The CBD side, great. Remember, if you're doing that with THC, you really need to watch that dosage, because it's kind of hard to tell when you're just buttering up the whole turkey. So fantastic. Thank you, Captain Cannabis, Cynthia, Lee. You guys are amazing. Happy holidays. We'll see you next Thursday on the Texas Hemp Party.
Be safe. Bye-bye.
So hard to dance without music.